Hello students, welcome to NCERT audiobook. Now we continue the second lesson of class 11th biological classification with topic kingdom fungi. 2.3 Kingdom fungi. The fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen fungi on a moist bread or rotten fruits. The common mushroom you eat and toadstool are also fungi. White spots seen on mustard leaves are due to a parasitic fungus. Some unicellular fungi, example yeast, are used to make bread and beer. Other fungi causes disease in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. Some are the sources of antibiotics. Example penicillium. Fungi are cosmopolitan and occurs in air, water, soil and on animal and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid soil and on animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Have you ever wondered why we keep food in a refrigerator? Yes, it is to prevent food from going bad due to bacterial or fungal infections. With the exceptions of yeasts, which are unicellular, fungi are filamentous. Their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae. The network of hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are constitutes tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called cynocytic hyphae. Others have septa or cross walls in their hyphae. The cell wall of fungi are composed of chitin and polysaccharides. Most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substance and hence are called saprophytes. Those that depend on living plants and animals are called parasites. They can also live as symbiotant in association with algae as lichens and with roots of higher plants as mycorrhiza. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means, fragmentation, fission and budding. Asexual reproduction is by spores called conidia or sporangiophore or zoospore, and sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. The various spores are produced in distinct structure called fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle involves the following three steps. First, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy. Second, fusion of two nuclei called karyogamy. Third, meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. When a fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells. However, in other fungi, ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage occurs. Such a condition is called dikaryon and the phase is called dikaryophase of fungus. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and the cell become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occur, leading to formation of haploid spores. The morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies form the basis for their division of the kingdom into various classes. 2.3.1 Phycomycetes. Members of phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitats and on decaying wood in moist and damp places or as obligate parasites on plants. The mycelium is aseptate and cynocetic. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospore motile or by a planospore non-motile. These spores are endogenously produced in sporangium. A zoospore is formed by fusion of two gametes. These gametes are similar in morphology, isogamous or dissimilar, unisogamous or oogamous. Some common examples are mucor, rhizopus, the bread mold mentioned earlier, and albugo, the parasitic fungi on mustard. 2.3.2 Ascomycetes. Commonly known as sac fungi, the ascomycetes are mostly multicellular, example penicillium, or rarely unicellular, example yeast, Saccharomycetes. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic, or corpophilous, growing on the dung. Mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously on the spatial mycelium called conidiophore. Conidia on germination produce mycelium. Sexual spores are called ascospores, which are produced endogenously in sac like asci, singular ascus. These asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies called ascocarp. Some examples of are aspergillus, cavicepe, neurospora. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and considered delicacies. 2.3.3 Basidiomycetes. Commonly known forms the basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi, or puffballs. They grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites. Example rust and smuts. The mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproductions by fragmentation is common. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in the basidium producing four basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously produced on the basidia. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarp. Some common members are agaricus, mushroom, Eustilago, smut, and Puccinia, rust fungus. 2.3.4 Deuteromycetes, commonly known as imperfect fungi because only the asexual or vegetative phases of these fungi are known. When the sexual forms of these fungi were discovered, they were moved into classes they rightly belong to. It is also possible that the asexual and vegetative stages have been given one name and placed under the deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage another and placed under the another class. Later, when the linkage were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out to deuteromycetes. Once perfect sexual stage of members of deuteromycetes were discovered, they were often moved to ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. The deuteromycetes reproduced only by asexual spores known as conidia. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are sporophytes and parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral cycling. Some examples are Alternaria, Clostridium, and Trichoderma. Here students, we completed the kingdom fungi. In next video, we talk about the kingdom plantae, animalia and viruses. Thank you.